Assignment 1, Understanding the Retail Environment. So this is an outline of the assignment. P1 is a presentation for the overview of the retail environment. M1 is also a presentation, it's the overview of different retail formats. P4 is a magazine article, it's also about the external retail environment and its impact on the retailer. So basically you've been asked to look at the general area, you need to write a report and also to do a presentation. You need to focus on 3 areas, which are the structure of the industry, the different types of retail format, the external influences, so P1, M1, P4. So P1's in a presentation, you need to describe the structure and organisation of the retail sector. You need to describe 4 retail types: supermarket, clothing retailers, charity stores, discounters and catalogue stores. You need to describe the size and trends of sales for one of these, the location and size of stores for 4 of these, the type of retailer. You also must include a not-for-profit retailer, and also look at the trends, the number of retail types, and employment characteristics. What I would say is these 4 here, the supermarket, clothing, electrical, retail and charity store, discounted catalogue, you must choose 4 of those. So out of the 7 choices, pick 4 of them and then run through this for each one of them. So for a supermarket, you would analyse the size and trends of sales, the location and size of stores, the type of retailer, and the employment characteristics. You do the same then for clothing, then for electrical and charity store. You just keep repeating it over and over again for those 4. It only needs to be about 4 slides, but it should include all this information, or as much of it as you can possibly gather. Right, 2 things. You need to use examples from the sector, but just don't focus on one. Like, for example, at Discounter, if you use Poundland, you should be focusing on the whole area. So you should be looking at the 99p shop, also to use data. M1 in your presentation, you need to compare the functions of 4 different retail formats and shopping locations. Okay, using the different types of Tesco format. So, in terms of this, you need to really look at basically the different formats and what they do. So, what are the different formats and store types? How are the stores linked by formats and locations? How are they similar and different? Please use data to support. So format and location, think about the map, think about where these things are based in Bristol, in your locality. How can they do it? So basically, why is Superstore based where it is? Why is the Metro in Broadmead? What does Metro mean for a start? What's it doing? Express, why are the Express stores in petrol stations? What is it about an Express store that puts them there? Why is Tesco's Home, why was it based in Cribs? Why is it near motorways? Why is Extra near IKEA? If you can explain all these points and explain it in detail and how they're linked, that will really help you get to a higher level. In terms of data, what you can also use is things like the data of floor space. How many stores are there in the country? You can get that quite easily and readily. And then in terms of similarities and differences, think, well, how are Metro and Express similar, but also how are they different? What are they doing that's different? How is the Superstore different from Extra and different from Home? Why is Home unique to the other formats? Unique means basically stands out on its own. That's all you have to do. If you did about 4 slides for that as well, and you did them in detail, that will be fine. Make sure you try and use the notes page as well. If you use it at the bottom, I'll give you an explanation of how to do it. P4, now this is a magazine article. You need to pick 1 retailer and then basically think about the external influences. So, what competitive factors in retail drive change? So, competitive laws and planning, PPS 6. Remember, use the booklet. These have all this information in it, you just need to collate it again. PPS 6 2005. The market position of a certain retailer. So I think I told you to look at Tesco's, you can look at them again, it's perfectly fine. Planning policy statements, which is the same as PPS 6. Barriers to entry, so basically what barriers to entry there are. If you look in the handbook, that will give you some indication. The Competition Commission, again, if you look in the handbook, that will help. New concepts, so what new concepts have they come up with? The use of ICT in marketing and sales, I would look at, purposely look at EPOS. So if you're using Tesco, have a look at there, which is electronic point of sale, so like Tesco's Club Card. I'd also look at the internet, how that's changed things, and also automation, so things like stock control, things like tills, you can use that. Click and collect, loads of stuff. How does the business use either products or customer service to help promote a dynamic service industry? Well, there you need to really look at what's it doing with its customer service, which makes it unique. Also their products. It could be that they're very big. This assignment, that part of the assignment should be about at least a side of A4, if not a little bit more. So you're looking at about a side and a quarter of A4 to get over all the key points. What I would say is you need to make sure that you reference PPS 6. Thanks very much for listening, and good luck.